We're live now. Go.
Hi everybody, welcome to Sugar and Crumbs. Today I've got my daughter Laura with me. She's going to do some of the demos today. Equally as nervous as I am, so pressure. And we've also got our sales and marketing manager with us this evening. If John would like to bring her around. This is Caroline. Hello. Caroline works in the office and she is the lady that you all talk to on the telephone. She sorts all your sales out, all the problems out. Basically she bails me and John out of everything. So there's a Carol and a Caroline. I'm Carol, this is Caroline.
Hello.
And she's going to be answering all your questions this evening. So make sure that you're ready. So hopefully after that intro we do have some people ready to say hi. So hello everybody, Caroline's getting ready to go hi. So that's hi from me, hi from Laura. So let me tell you what we're going to make today. And I need to stop saying so, one day I'll stop saying it. If John can just zoom in here, I'll just turn the music down a little bit. I know you all love the music. We're in a different kitchen today. We're actually in my own home kitchen. Normally we're in the Sugar and Crumbs kitchen. Now today we're going to make these gorgeous raspberry ripple freehands. They're absolutely delicious. No, we're going to make blueberry. These are raspberry ripple. Yeah, Laura's interfering already. So Laura has pre-made these. These are lovely and hot. Absolutely gorgeous. And the reason we've made different ones is that you can actually make freehands with any flavour from the Sugar and Crumbs range. So these are the raspberry ripple ones. And if you're not mad on buttercream and you just like cake with a bit of fruit, definitely try these. And then we're going to make some Italian meringue and use the Oriental Ruffle. Now I like this a lot better than using buttercream. I think it gives a much better effect. We're going to show you how to make that. Quite time consuming this one, so while we're doing this I'm also going to demo some Nifty Nozzles. And we've also made some more freehands with the hot cross bunny, which is a flavour that we brought out many years ago. It was a massive success. So what we've done here, we've used the new hot cross bunny flavour. That's going to be launched next week at Cake International. Who's this week? So who's going to Cake International this week? Come on! You can get your hot cross bunny there, absolutely delicious. And we put a slice of apple in there. You'll see that this is a different shape, and this is because this has been made in the pan for freehands. So don't panic. So you'll see that this is the freehand pan, okay, special pan for making these. But if you haven't got one of those, just pop your cupcake case in, or do them plain as well and make it in a normal cupcake case. You got that, John? You on it? Yeah? So, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Laura. Laura is going to make Blueberry Friands, and these are to die for. Now, how we got to know about this recipe is a lady, actually, when we first started many moons ago, way back in 2013, used the blueberry flavouring to make them, and we've loved them ever since. And then Laura's just used it for other flavours. So if we go back over to Laura now, I'm going to let her get on with it for you.
Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what we're going to use today. So first of all, it's 250 ml of egg whites, which we've got here already. It's approximately 7 large eggs. And we're just going to pour that into a clean mixing bowl with a whisk attachment. And we're just going to get that started whisking. They're just on a very low mix. And then you need 100 grams of plain flour in another bowl. 125 grams of ground almonds. And then because we're using blueberry, 250 grams of the Sugar and Crumbs blueberry icing sugar. We're just going to put all that in together for our dry ingredients and give them a quick mix. Squeeze that up a little bit. So while we're waiting for our egg white, I'm just going to get the freehand mix. And you need to set your oven to 180 degrees. I'm using the cake stand just need to make sure that you get right into the bottom of the tin and around the sides. I'm just going to move over to the sink just so I'm not spraying it all over the place. So this is just to make sure that they're easy to take out when you cook them. Now if you are going to use the normal cupcake tin, like this one here, you can use it the same way with the cake release, or you can use the muffin cases, but you just have to bear in mind that with the muffin cases it takes a few more minutes to bake. I'm just waiting on the egg whites there. We're just looking for them to get a nice foamy texture. So in the meantime, we've got 160 grams of butter which I've just melted. They're ready, and when the egg whites are ready we're just going to mix that in with those dry ingredients. Just one other thing as well, if you don't want to make the little friands or the cupcakes, you can do a loaf tin as well. So it's about the same recipe, but instead of doing the individual friands, you can just do a loaf, and then that takes about an hour to bake. That's what you're looking for from your egg whites, just want that nice soft foamy mixture. So we're just going to pour that in the dry ingredients. And we're just going to fold that in. You don't have to be really gentle with this, you just need to get it mixed in. So when it's partly mixed in with the dry ingredients, you're then going to add in the melted butter, and again just keep folding that in then. Any questions about this yet, Caroline?
Egg whites. How many egg whites did you use? I said it was about 6, but it depends.
It was 250 mils. It's approximately 7 large eggs that you'd need. Okay, so now that we've got it all mixed together, you get this nice creamy colour. We're just going to spoon into the friand tin, and you just need to get it so that it's almost full. And there's enough mixture to do 12. Two more. If you're using the loaf tin, you just fill it with the whole bowl right to the top. Extra. chocolate, because we're using blueberry, so if you was using a hot cross bunny, you can use other fruit like apples. The raspberry ripple, we've used fresh raspberries, but with blueberry, we're just going to use some nice fresh blueberries. And all you need to do is just drop a few on the top. They don't sink all the way in when it's baked. You just get this nice little bit of colour popping out. It just adds a little bit more fruitiness. You could mix some through the mix if you wanted to. Okay, and then we're just going to pop that in the oven, and that takes 25 to 30 minutes.
We need a kind volunteer to remind us.
Yeah.
So what is it, quarter
Quarter
past?
past now. So, but again, if you're doing the loaf tin, that's going to take an hour to bake. Am I going to do this? No, I don't. So I'm a bit of a tiny.
Yeah. Right then, well didn't you do well with them? They're absolutely fabulous, those are, and I'm sure if you're prepared to try these, you will love them, no matter what flavour that you do. Laura's going to get set up for doing the Italian meringue. Now this isn't Italian meringue buttercream, this is just Italian meringue. It's actually really quite light. She's just done one earlier, let me grab it. So you can see how light and fluffy it is. So it's just really absolutely lovely, and it's one of my favourites. Pop it in the mouth. And we're just going to cheat today because we have been mad busy at work this morning, and we only managed to leave, well I only managed to leave work at 5 o'clock this evening. Run to the shops and realised I hadn't baked any cakes, so I'm sorry, pre-bought cakes. But the ruffle, this is the Oriental Ruffle, and I'm going to quickly show you what effect this does. So straight onto the cake, like all the other Nifty Nozzles, and you just squeeze, 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 get to the top, twist off. Okay? Now that's quite a lot on there, you don't need to put that much. That's if you want to really go really, really giddy. Okay? And if you want to give it a really nice effect afterwards, get the blowtorch out. It is cooked, so you can eat this. Laura's going to show you how it's made. But if you want to give it a nice little round effect, all you need to do is get the blowtorch out and use that. So while Laura's going to tell you about the ingredients, it does take some time. Go on, Caroline.
Struggling with sound.
Struggling with sound.
Oh, music.
Shall I turn the music off?
Just, it said it's better when you're closer.
Ah, right. John, get closer. Come on, you've been doing this filming now, John. This is your 4th episode.
Laura's not as loud as you.
I'm new.
Isn't it, Laura?
And also one question from Emma, I think it was. Do you have a tip for having a flat top on your friand or cupcake?
That's just how it comes out.
Yeah, there's enough mixture in the recipe to do exactly 12. So if you just fill them all, you know, even, then they come out pretty much even. Okay, thank you. That's great.
Yeah.
I haven't tried to do it, but they all come out quite nice.
Yeah. So Laura's going to get the recipe together for the Italian meringue. She's going to talk through the recipe with you, and she's going to actually turn it on and to get the pan going. And she does have to bring it up to temperature. So what we're actually going to need is John to come in and look at this. I'm going to talk about a few other things as well. So once Laura's told you about it and she's waiting for temperature, I'll tell you about a few other things, and then we'll go back to it so you can see how it's made. And then, what else was I going to tell you? You'll see that I've been running around the kitchen like a mad woman. Well, I've had one of those days today where everything goes wrong. So I whipped my buttercream, and it's actually so soft, it's now in the freezer. So I'm going to give it 5 minutes, and hopefully it's going to be all right again. So you're going to see me dash off in a minute, get it out of the freezer, and hope it's stable enough for us to use. But that's because I forgot about it, and left it on the mixer, beaten away. I just think it's had 20 minutes in the beater, which is just a little bit too much. So back to Laura.
Okay, so for the Italian meringue, just to get us started, it should take about 20 minutes for it to get to temperature. I've just got 120 ml of water, which I'm just going to pour into the pan. And then we're using salted caramel. So I've just got here 230 grams of the icing sugar. I'll just turn this on. Now it's really important when you're making this that there's no stirring involved. So you just need to watch that if you are a bit of a stirrer or a poker, that you step away a little bit. So I've just got the cold water in there, 230 grams of the icing sugar, and no stirring in. You're just going to leave it to dissolve. So we're just going to leave it like that. Now you do need a thermometer when you're making this, and I've got a few different ones here just to show you what you can use. So we've just got a little digital one here, which is what I'm going to use today. But also we've got the Thaler one as well, which you can use. It's just important that when you are taking the temperature that you don't do it in the middle, because that's your hottest part. So you need to keep it to the side. But I'll show you that when we're doing it. So it's going to take about 20 minutes. So we've got that on there. Just the other part that you need is the egg whites. So this is 120 grams of egg whites, which I've got ready, and we're just going to put that in a clean mixing bowl. And you have to make sure that the mixing bowl has got nothing in it, because if it does, that's going to throw out your meringue later.
Right, can we ask you a question, Laura?
Yeah.
Ria is asking how much water again. She missed it.
120 mils of water.
So we are running behind. Just a minute, so if we just give us a second. Do you want to just go through the ingredients again?
Yeah, sure. So it was 120 ml of water that I put in the pan, and then with that I put 230 grams of the salted caramel icing sugar, but you can use any flavour that you want. And I've just put the cold water in, put the icing sugar in. I've not stirred it, I'm just letting it dissolve on its own. And all you'll see me do throughout is that I'm just going to give it a slight little wiggle on the pan through the 20 minutes that we're waiting for it. So in here, again, it's 120 grams of egg whites. I'm just going to get my whisk attachment and we'll get this started. We're just going to put this on very low, because we don't want it to be completely ready before the sugar syrup is.
Do you want to show the meringue with friands in the oven? Right, so just put my buttercream out the freezer. Right, so last week, ladies, I showed you how to make chocolate brownies. And Laura and I have our own recipe, and we like to bake a little bit longer. And my son, who is a chef, likes to bake a little bit less. And by the end of the session, they weren't actually ready. So I actually went into a bit of a meltdown, and then got a lovely telling off from my son afterwards that basically I told you not to wait long enough. So the time in the oven was absolutely correct, but you need 3 to 5 hours just to leave them to cool down, settle, or better still, leave them in the fridge overnight, and they are gorgeous. They were to die for. We took them into work the next day. Everybody went mad for them. I bet more of them. Low on the diet this week. So I reckon that stone I lost over the last month I put back on. So do follow Ryan's recipe, 20 minutes in the oven. One of the things I'm not sure that you guys all know about is, and I keep forgetting to mention it, on the back of every packet of Sugar and Crumbs, you'll see this little label here. And what it says is www.sugarandcrumbsmixingitup.com. Okay? And that is our recipe site. It's not well known because we completely forget to tell you, but Laura spends a hell of a lot of time on there making recipes with all our flavours. We've had bloggers on there, we've got Sal's Kitchen on there, everybody who's used all our 36 flavours and more that we've had, cocoa powders to give you ideas. There's sweets, there's meringues, there's fudge, there's cheesecake, what else is there? The friands. Yeah.
Swiss rolls.
Just healthy options, alcoholic options.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, anyhow, I didn't know they were all on there. But that's basically on the back of every bag. So if you've got a bag of Sugar and Crumbs in your kitchen, go and have a look, see that website, and you'll see loads and loads of recipes that you can actually make with the icing sugar. It's not just for buttercream. Yeah? So the other things I wanted to tell you about is, last week I said the winners would get 5 bags of cocoa powder, and the prize winners, are you ready? Okay. The first one is Karen Thacker. So congratulations, Karen. Message me your address. Are you actually online? Is she online tonight? You've not seen it yet? Well, if you're there, Karen, please give us a wave, but you're a winner. Please do message us your address, and we will get you 5 bags of delicious cocoa powder out to you tomorrow. And then the next winner, and I know this lady's going to be really chuffed, because she sits there and watches with her daughters every week, and I was so chuffed when it came out of the box, and that is Jenny Jones. Hello, Jenny. Are you there? She's there, Jenny. Yeah, come on, Jenny, give us a wave with those girls. Yeah, so Jenny Jones, 5 bags of delicious cocoa powder on its way to you. I'm not going to tell you what this week's prize is. I will save that for later. So, what else do I want to tell you?
What's coming up?
Yeah, what's coming up? I can't read my own things this week. Oh, I'm going to do buttercream, yeah. So, who's going to Cake International? I'm going to mention it again. Laura and I are going to be at Cake International. Unfortunately, Caroline isn't, but John, Laura and I will be there, and we will be doing demos all day long. So please come along and see us at the stand. I forget what stand we're at, but we've got a big, pretty big-sided stand, and we're going to be doing demos all day long, and we will have all our bundle deals with us, and we've got 5 new flavours. Not going to tell you what they are, because we're going to launch them at the show, albeit you did have one massive big clue for one flavour, and that was your hot cross bunny. So Laura's going to take you back.
Yep, I'm just going to quickly take a reading. So when you're taking your reading, you need to be doing it at the side of the pan, because the middle is where your heat is coming into the pan. So if you put it in at the side, then you're getting a better idea of what the reading is. So at the moment, we're up to 91.8 degrees, so we're getting there closely. But what you will find is that when you do give it this little swirl, which you should do every couple of minutes, and you put it back in again, the temperature can drop slightly. So we are getting closer. We're at 100 at the moment, but we want 118 degrees, so another 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so over to me, let's just see. Okay, I'm going to use this little set. I sell these on the website. They're a set of 3 nozzles. It's the 1M, I can't remember what they are, 1D, and it's the 1M, the 1B, and the 2A. So it's the 1M, 2D, and 2A. And what we're going to use is the 1M. Because a few ladies, a lady posted on the Facebook page this week her Cupcake Bouquet. She used Nifty Nozzles and she used the 1M. So a couple of you ladies have asked me how did she do that, and I'm just going to quickly show you my version. Like my little rose. So what we're going to do is, we've got our colour, and I'm just going to give a little squirt in there. That's all we need. A little drop. This is the way I do it. I'm going to rub it all over the bag, and I have to get John away from those in case any of you spotted them. Talk about those afterwards. So anyhow, news on the Caroline can't hear. So news on Amazon sellers. Loads of you have given me massive support this week, and I can't tell you how much support. I am getting messages every day of you all telling me about the copy sellers. So let me just make a couple of things clear. Nifty Nozzles. So if your cake supply sells you a Nifty Nozzle in a Nifty Nozzle bag, then that is the genuine nozzle. All our nozzles have this writing on, okay? Nifty Nozzles. And they also have, what's this one? Let me see. They've also got tulip. What do you want me to do? They've also got tulip on the side as well. When we first started doing the nozzles, they, you know, the very first ones didn't have actually anything on. And then we put WST, which was for workshop tulip. And then we put Nifty Nozzles. And now we have Nifty Nozzles. So you can see there. And we have Tulip Workshop. A few people are confused and think that because it says tulip, it's a tulip nozzle. It's actually the name of the company, which is Alexander's. So the copies, again, I will keep harping on about them. So over 500 sellers off Amazon UK. If you pop on there today, I don't think you'll see anybody on there. They will keep popping up daily, and every day I'm going to report them. We are starting on Amazon tomorrow. Facebook takes a little bit longer, okay? So you'll see all the little videos that are coming up. I think it's called, I don't know what they're called, satchels, Veroni, kitchen hacks, Sticks Kitchen. They're all Chinese copies. And what they're actually selling you is these little nozzles. So instead of a big one, the proper one, do the rows there, they're selling you those, and this is the genuine Russian nozzle, okay? So those are the copies. Made with cheap steel, and this is the quality one. And can I just tell you that these have been patented, so that means that they're actually been designed and patented by Alexandra and myself, okay? And it's actually a criminal offence to sell copies, as you know. So if you have been sold a set, please send it back to your supplier and ask them for immediate refund. You are entitled to one. So you've seen what I've done with my bag. Now a little bit of colouring in there. And that was only a tiny drop. And I am going to put in my buttercream. So this is one way to do it. And I will show you another way. So I'm going to put in my buttercream. I hope it's firm enough now. So it was a little bit soft. Squeeze that down. You can see the colour come up nice and bright now. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that there. You can see how it's just coming around the edges. So I'm going to go and get my pre-made cake. Sorry about this. These are ginger cakes from a local supermarket. So we're just going to go around with the swirl. So same consistency of buttercream as you do for your Nifty Nozzles. And all we're going to do is go round, round, round and off. Did we get that? Do we like that? Who wants me to do it again? Nobody? Time delay. Oh, we're getting a couple of little lights. Would you like me to do that again? So let me just show you again.
Well, you do that and then I need to, this is ready.
Yeah, okay.
Rianne says, amazing, can't wait to try mine. Antra said, yes please, can you do it again?
Okay, so we're going to go into the middle. I think John's got it here. Into the middle. We're going to go round, round, round and off.
Do you use the same condensed milk recipe for this?
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. This is the recipe that I actually use for the Nifty Nozzles. So, and that recipe is on every, if you go into any of the nozzles on our website, go in there, every single one is there. Now I need to send you back to Laura very quickly. She needs to tell you something. So John, if you pop back to Laura.
Just that for our Italian meringue, the sugar syrup is ready now, so that's what you're looking for. It's nice, really hot, bubbling, 118 degrees. So over here, back to the egg whites that we started with before. We just want to turn them onto a low number again. And how you have to do this, it is a bit of hard work and you do have to concentrate, but it is good for your arms, is that we're just going to lift the pan from a high height, because we're going to pour out the syrup from the pan into the mixer, making sure that we're not hitting the wick, but we're also not hitting the sides. And we want it to come out in a very thin stream. So about this high. And you just want that kind of consistency to come out. So just take a couple of minutes. So John can get closer to the bowl. You'll see that it's not going on the whisk and it's not going on the side of the bowl. It's just slowly mixing in with the meringue, so it's actually cooking the meringue for you. And we're just going to hold it like this, which is quite tiring. We'll get there. But this is just to make sure that the syrup's going in nice and slow. It's not going to overcook the eggs too quick. It's just going to do it at a nice, gentle pace, which is what we want to get that nice, glossy meringue. Keep going, and you need to keep going. Now, as we're pouring it out, the pan's cooling, so some of it will start to stick on the side of the pan like it is now. We're just going to turn it right over and then leave it there. Just take that away. Okay. And now, if you feel the side of your mixing bowl, you're going to feel that it's probably about 180 degrees hot. And we just need to leave the mixer whipping round, cooking that egg white until it cools down. So I'm just going to pass you back to Mum, and we'll just keep an eye on it until it's cooled down. We're just going to let it mix and cool and it gets that nice glossy meringue. Now wash up. You do need to make sure that you wash your pan straight away, otherwise it's just going to go all hard in your pan set, and then you'll never get it out.
Back to you, Carl.
Yep, that's me. Right, okay, I used Frilly Girl last week on one of the cakes, and I've got to be honest, I wasn't particularly keen on the colour that I used, so I actually used a red and a green colour. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here, and this is the Frilly Girl. I've actually coloured it the pink with the buttercream, so whereas I've done the rose where I've just coloured the bag with the colour in, this one I've actually done with the buttercream on the outside and white in the middle. So this is Frilly Girl, and I do think it looks a lot better. Oops. You got that? Super. So I think it looks a lot better in a lighter colour. I think the colour I used last week was just a little bit too much. I used a dark green. So what I'm actually going to do is, while we're here, I'm just going to do you a cupcake bouquet again, because I know some of you haven't seen every single Facebook Live show, and I think it's always good for me just to remind you, okay? So the buttercream, anybody who wants to know, I always use a minimum of 1 kilo of buttercream. That's 500 grams of unsalted butter. If you don't want it so sweet, use slightly salted butter, okay? If you, and then a kilo of icing sugar. Now you can use plain icing sugar and flavour it yourself, or you can use our fabulous already flavoured icing sugar, which is what I prefer, and that's what I use. So I'm just making up a couple of little bags here, and then I've got one more. So I've got this one, this one, this one. Right, okay, so let me grab a cake. So here we go. going to make our cupcake bouquet. So we're just going to put a thin coat of buttercream on here. And that's just to make it a little bit sticky. Yeah. And I am going to use the beauty tip. And if John just watches there, have you got a close up there, John? So we're going to go straight onto the cake. So don't dangle. So straight onto this cake, squeeze, form a base, up and off. Broken, don't worry. Are you panicking? If it panics, just go back. Squeeze, form a base, up, release and off, and I'm having a nightmare. I might have to come back to it. So, squeeze, form a base, there we go. And then I am going to use the Wilton 104 because I'm actually going to extend. So I'm just going to get there so that John can see. Up, and do a little semicircle. So can you see those semicircles? It doesn't matter if they break. And you just overlap them. I'm going to go around twice. And if I turn that round, you'll see my rose is forming. Yeah. Then I'm going to Then I'm going to put it on the side, and I'm hoping John can get in there. So we're just going to go on the side and we're going to go up. Can you see that, John? So we're going to go on the side and we're going to go up, on the side, up, on the side, up, and keep going round, on the side, up, and then the last one we're just going to tuck into there. And then you've got this lovely rose. I'm going to put in another rose here. Another rose there. And I'm having a nightmare with this rose. Just 1 second. See, it all goes wrong. So don't panic. All you've got to do is just not panic. There we go. And then I'm actually going to put in some little berries so you can see them. That's with the Wilton round 10, and I'm just going to use the Wilton round 5 just to fill in there. And the colours I'm using tonight is the Colour Splash Violet, the pistachio I think it is, yeah, pistachio, and the orange. And then we've got my favourite nozzle, which is the Wilton 352 leaf. And if you remember, you've got the little mouth opening, and we're just going to squeeze. Are we ready? Friands are ready. Right, we're just going to stop a minute. Go and get the friands out the oven, John.
1 second.
It needs about 25 minutes. I'll just check them just briefly while John was over with Mum. Golden in colour, nice and soft but cooked through. We're just going to pull these out and we're going to leave them on the side in the tin for about 10 to 15 minutes just so they can cool down before we try and take them out. We'll put them there.
I'm going to go back here. There's my leaf. And then we're going to go back in for another leaf. Squeeze, 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 form a nice big thick base. And there as well. Yeah. So you can see you just keep going in and forming a nice big thick base. And there you go. You've got your cupcake bouquet. Yeah, are we okay? So I'll try and do something in Nifty Nozzles every week. I've got some great ideas for next week. But there you go, I'm just going to go over that one again. Right, Laura, how's your meringue doing?
So just back to the meringue, so we're just feeling, you want to use the back of your hand on the side of your mixing bowl so you can feel that it's cooling down. And if I just stop it just quickly, it's a couple of minutes off yet. When it's ready, it will just be a lot more fluffy and thicker. So it's just a couple more minutes, but it's cooled down a lot now. We'll just keep that going for a couple of minutes. Somebody did just ask a question about the meringue. This meringue it's a different meringue. Italian meringue is a soft meringue, so it's like the meringue that's used on top of a lemon meringue pie. And you can use what we've made today to do that. If you're doing a lemon meringue pie, you could decorate it on top of the pie. But it is, if I just show you here, somebody asked if you could make meringue kisses. If you just look at that, you'll see that it's very soft, and it will stay soft like that. It's holding its shape, but it's just soft. And because we've added in that hot syrup to the egg whites, it's cooked to the egg, so it is safe to eat, but it's just a nice soft meringue.
Back to you, Cal.
Back to me. I'm just doing a bigger rose now. We do several bundle deals on our website, and on our website we've got the Cupcake Bouquet, which is all 5 nozzles. So if you go to the Sugar and Crumbs page, Nifty Nozzles, you'll see Cupcake Bouquet, and that's all 5 nozzles that I've used this evening. Yeah. Or you can go for 2 nozzles, which is the rose nozzle and the leaf nozzle, or which is called the Rose Bouquet. I think it's called Rose 2 nozzles, I think it's called. And then we've got the rose with the 3 nozzles, which is all 3 nozzles here. So whereas I've used 5 nozzles on the Cupcake Bouquet, here I've used just 3 nozzles, which is the rose nozzle in the middle, which I'm using Beauty, then the 104, and then the 352 leaf nozzle. Okay, we've got a lot of heat on in the kitchen here, so things are melting a little bit. Let me just put that on there, turn that round. There's John's Cupcake Bouquet. You can see that. Okay, I'm going to give you a quick flash of next week's nozzles. These are due to be released, so I'm just going to quickly pop them in there. So, the love hearts, oh, there we go, love hearts. We've got the rabbit, we've got the double love hearts, and we've got the bunny. And they are all going to be on sale at the end of next week. They should arrive. I'm just waiting for them all to arrive. So bunny, double love heart, can't remember what they're called at the moment. And that's the little Easter rabbit. And there's, I think it's called Valentine, that one. Yeah, and I will show you what to do with them next week.
Getting lots of loves for that and wows, so
yeah, well, they're fabulous. So I'll have some nice ideas for that one. Right, Laura, how are we doing with your Italian meringue?
It's just a couple of minutes off.
Yeah.
Do you want to show them the nozzle that you use?
Pardon?
The nozzle.
Yeah, and the nozzles that we use?
No, well,
For the Italian meringue. Okay, so for the Italian meringue, let me just show you the genuine nozzles. Okay, these are the 2 genuine Oriental Ruffle. Okay, this little diamond bit here, you know what, there's no effect at all. We put it in occasionally. Okay, so sometimes you might get the nozzle like that without the effect, and sometimes it'll have that on. The one thing, as I said before, you just need to make sure it's got tulip on it and Nifty Nozzles. Okay, that's that one. And these are the 2 copies. The 2 copies don't work as well. People are selling these to do, what do they call it, twist and, I don't know, they're doing some sort of dance on a cupcake with it.
They do like a wiggle and...
Yeah, a wiggle and a dance. And then they leave a massive big hole in the middle and they expect you to fill it with a flower. So there you go. So they're the original ones, and these are the Chinese copies. You won't see these on Amazon anymore, and hopefully by the time Caroline and I have tackled eBay tomorrow, you won't see them there either. because I'm going to do my best to make sure that there is no fraudulent colours in the UK anyhow.
Just to get the bag ready that we're going to...
All the ladies are asking for when they can have a demonstration of the new nozzles.
Next week. I'm going to do them on cookies next week. I'm going to do them on cookies mainly because I'm not that creative with them on cake. So maybe once they go out, some of the customers are going to come back and show me how creative they've been on the cake with them.
Okay, there's mine.
There you go. Alright.
So we're demonstrating the Italian meringue in the Oriental Ruffle Nozzle, which is how we got this effect on here. You see? Okay, so we've just put the nozzle in the bag. You just need to be careful that when you cut the bag that you're just cutting it so it's just being able to come over and come through like that. So when your meringue's ready, the side of the bowl's almost completely cool now. Grab a spoon. And when you're scraping down your meringue, you don't want to be scraping up here because this is not add any egg white up here, but the sugar's spun on it, it's crystallised there and got it a little bit sticky, so you need to avoid that because if you get that in your bag, then it's going to block the meringue coming through.
Laura, could you add colour to this meringue?
And you can into the bag like I did.
Yeah.
Do you want to have a bit of colour actually? Can I have a bit of colour?
Yeah, you can do. So if you wanted to use some colour, once your nozzle's in there, just pull down the side of the bag.
So I'm just going to put a little drop on, like we did with the one end. It's only a little drop. Just rub it into the nozzle. Okay. And it looks like you can't see the colour. Do not go mad because they go really deep. And then try and move it up your bag so that you can hardly see it.
You don't want to be adding the colour to the meringue because if you're going to put it in there and mix it too hard, you're going to lose all the air and the fluffiness that's in there.
So you can hardly see that now.
So, put the bag ready again. Once you've put the meringue in, you can see the colour that we've just put in there. You don't want to put too much in so you've got a bit of space up there to be able to squeeze it down. So just like the other Nifty Nozzles, take your cupcake, start in the centre and you're just going to squeeze. And you don't need to do any moving around, just squeeze and let it come out on its own there, and when you got to your height, just give it a little twist. So I'll just do another one because the colour's not come out much on that one. So just do that again. But it doesn't look like it in the bag. So again, just squeeze and let it just glide out on its own. So I'm not doing any fancy twisting, I'm just squeezing. And again, when I've got it to my height, lift. So if you was doing this on a lemon meringue pie, you could just use like your 2D nozzle, and you could just do pipe little drops around the top of the pie. And there you go. That's your lemon meringue, not your lemon meringue, your Italian meringue.
Who's going to have a go at making that then? Most of the colour do come out.
On the second one, yeah.
It's always a good idea, like with the buttercream, you can squeeze the buttercream out and then use it back in the bag. So,
Is there any questions, Caroline? Or?
People are loving the colour tint, and I've asked about the shelf life of the icing sugar, which just responding to. How long would that keep?
So it keeps, once you've piped it onto a cake, it keeps for a couple of hours. So
You've got to use it within the day.
You've got to use it that day.
Yeah. So it's around, you need to eat it that day.
Yeah, you need to eat it that day.
Yeah. But it's a nice light effect. It's actually great for people who don't like buttercream. It's really light, and like I say, anybody who doesn't like buttercream, it's perfect. I'm going to go back to this nozzle that I was using before. So if John wants to come back over here.
Can I just ask, somebody's asked, can you use other nozzles with Italian meringue?
Yeah.
You can use other nozzles, but it's better with the nozzles that are swirly, like Mrs. Whippy, Rose Twist. It doesn't pipe out the flower nozzles. It doesn't show the same detail, but it works with any of the twisty ones.
Okay, so the preset nozzles, the Wilton ones, I'm just going to show you a few other things that you can do with these. So, you know, just really very easy. People like that. We can do, let's get this little cake here. So we can go round and we can build the cake up. And you can do a swirl. So that's with the 1M. And then there's a round one here, large round. So you could do this. Like this. Do that nice effect there. Let me just get this cake here. Again, you can just go, just take it round, give yourself a flat top. My buttercream is melting in the heat here. And then I've got another nozzle here, which I just want to quickly use. And again, all these free nozzles are in that Wilton set. Let me just do it as well. So we're going to go round. Yep, that's your swirl. So, ladies and gentlemen, has there been any guys with us today? Okay, so let me just tell you a few other things. So, if we're going to see you at Cake International, that's for me and Laura and John. Next week, this week's prize. So everybody will want to know. So this week's prize will be an Oriental Ruffle, yeah, and one of these sets of 3 nozzles, which is the Wilton 1M, 2D and 2A. So all you need to do is share and comment, like our page, and the comment tonight is Oriental Ruffle. So if you can remember that, Oriental Ruffle, and you have to share the page, comment Oriental Ruffle, like our page, in fact do anything you can to promote our page, and we will choose 2 lucky winners next week for that prize. So I just want to say a big thank you for you all joining us again this evening. Laura, bye-bye, Laura.
Just to say quickly that the Blueberry Friands are now ready, so I'm just taking them out just so you get a little look of what they look like before we, because they won't be here in a couple of minutes when we're finished.
No, well and truly, because these are gorgeous.
So
there you go, Laura, do you want to use some cut some of them? So what it looks like inside.
it's just a really light, nice.
So this one? Yeah. Believe me, ladies and gentlemen, when you try these, you will love them. Everybody loves them. They're just so moreish. So just to recap, tonight we have made Blueberry Friands, Raspberry Friands, Hot Cross Brownie Friands, we made Italian Meringue and used the Oriental Ruffle, we did a Cupcake Bouquet over here, We used the 1M piping tip to make this lovely rose swirl, and we used Pretty Girl. And I just want to say a big thank you from myself, Laura, bye. Leave us to clean the kitchen. We've got a massive kitchen to clean here. And a goodbye from Caroline. Bye. And John's not said much tonight. We've not really said much to John. Bye, John.
Bye.
Bye, John. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
See you next week.